chase that thrill, yeah, ride your dreams like a rocket. If you're ever standing in a city on a crowded street, feeling all alone, just remember it don't matter how far you are from home. You're somebody's baby, somebody's favorite song to sing, somebody's
is severely handicapped needs to fear that they will get paid any less. In fact, they're going to see an increase. We want them to be able to earn more money before losing their benefits. And we're hearing a lot of support in the disabilities community.
This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports. This province is the only province that is actually expanding disability supports.
AISH Actions Revolutionary Podcast.
Chantal and Gavin.
You have now entered the no bullshit zone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of AISH Actions Revolutionary Podcast. I am your host, Gavin Saroshan, and I hope y'all are doing just slightly amazing today. Me, not bad. Not bad. Thanks for asking. Yesterday was the beginning of the Civic Corpus, and I would love to hear your feedback in regard to that. You can let me know in the chat how you felt about that. I felt it was good. I felt like it needed to be a little bit more streamlined. Those were my thoughts, not yours. So let me know how you felt about that. I should mention, not only, and my son is not mechanically inclined, really at all. But when he was over here on Sunday, not only did he give an apple to a homeless person, but he fixed my AC unit. Something that I thought was an impossibility, impossible, as they say in Quebec. Well, I had done anything and everything to try and fix my AC unit. I sat here in 85-degree weather in this apartment for more than a week. He comes over. I tell him, the AC unit's crapped out. He's like, God damn, it's hot in here. Ooh, right? I'm like, yeah, it crapped out. He's like, well, what happened? I said, well, it tripped, and then I put it back on, but as soon as I plugged it back in, the light would come on and then it would trip again. So it was plugged in. He reaches down, resets it. It kind of goes, shuts off. I said, see, and then boom, all of a sudden it comes back on. I'm like, dude, I realized how he did it. It's because I had unplugged it to reset it, and it has to be plugged in when you reset it. So there you go. From a guy that really, can maybe fix a door handle, figured out my AC unit. So I am nice and cool in here today. Thank you very much, Josh. Very, very astounding. So let's go to the chat. Hey, Linda, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you today. And Megan's in here. Hey, guys. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. I am doing pretty well, and I hope the same for you. We have some things to get to today. Number one, if you haven't heard, there's good rockin' at midnight. Number one. And number two, Olds, basically, what did I say exactly? Where the hell am I? The AI data center in Olds has been more or less scrapped. So we can all thank Olds for that. I don't know what's going on in Olds. I don't know, what is happening there. But I'll tell you what, there are some good, community-minded, intellectually savvy, nuanced people living in Olds. I got to give them that, man. When the world is going to hell over these AI data centers and gigawatt, power centers in order to drive these things, Olds just said, no, you ain't going to build anything that big here. Sorry, not going to happen. So good for them. What does that show the rest of us? That it can be done. that some effort put into this can actually met the proper result. So I have to give it to Olds right now. Great job. You know, until the government comes forward and gives an explanation as to why these things are so important to begin with, then I think we can all kind of just put the, I hate to use the term kibosh on it, until we figure out why these things are actually being proliferated across the entire goddamn world. I don't get it, except for, you know, data collection. It really has nothing to do with whatever AI is on your computer that you need to, whatever, do a video. That is ridiculous. It has something to do with something else. And although perhaps I'm not quite, I haven't come to the bottom of that yet, it doesn't seem like anything good to me. So once again, Olds, great job. Great job. Linda says, I am feeling better. I am off of Ozempic. Right. You know, I mean, that thing came on way too quick, man. You know, like right after COVID, out of nowhere. And they wouldn't even say the name of the product on their commercials. And I thought, what the hell is this? Right? Like, what kind of marketing campaign is this? I get it. It was a way to lose weight, but I also understand that it had some either intended or unintended consequences that came along with it. I know a certain amount of people that were on it and really gained nothing good from the experience overall. So, Linda, you know, not that you have to, but I would be curious as to the fact that you're feeling better because you're off Ozempic, it seems to me. If you want to share any of that, you don't have to. Excuse me, I would be very curious as to what it made you feel like, what you're feeling. Because like I said, I've heard of, you know, some kind of bad feedback from that, right? And some, whatever, consequences from it. So if you care to, I would love to know. Yesterday was the inaugural Civic Corpus, and it's good. I think it's going to be very good for all of us because we're all a part of this. Once again, Olds enacted in a form of Socratic democracy, meaning rule by the people, in so much power as they have, not really living in a democracy, they were able to collapse this idea and this potential destruction to their town and to their way of life. This is part and parcel with the civic corpus that I've created, albeit mine is 200 pages and growing expansively, but it really has to do with us taking our power back. That's really what it's about, and living our best life. Today, probably not. In the future, in the short future, potentially to some extent, and to the elongated future, I believe so. I believe there is a lot of power behind this civic corpus, and although it is not replete, and it may not be perfect, because nothing is and no one is, it goes a long way to describing how we can actually live a life that is honorable and respects the human being and the human species. So it's going to be very exciting for me to have Tyrell on here again on Thursday and to really just get into the nuts and bolts of the corpus itself. So stay tuned for that. It also comes with pictures and some videos that I still have to do because I've been a busy boy. Linda says, my blood sugar is normal now. I lost 43 pounds on Ozempic. I was able to get my insulin down to 6 units from 84 units. When I was on 1 milligram, I vomited all day, every day. Okay, so you incurred the benefits of losing 43 pounds. Congratulations. And your insulin went down to 6 units from 84 units. That sounds remarkable to me, Linda. If I'm correct on that, I don't know that much about diabetes. But then you said you vomited all day, every day, which doesn't sound good to me. Would I be correct on the 2 potential decent outcomes and the 1 horrific one? I was getting very weak. My retired nurse friend made me go to ER twice. Holy shit. So, yeah, let me know if I'm correct in my assumption that 2 sounded good, maybe were good, but the other one, the pain was not worth the benefit, I guess, right? Let me know if I got that right. Yes, you are correct. Okay, good. Well, congratulations, I think, on the 43 pounds. I think that's good. The 6 down from 84, tremendous. The vomiting all day, every day, not so good. Not so good. And this kind of aligns with what I've heard about this Ozempic drug myself. So, I hope you're able to keep your insulin down, Linda, and I hope you keep the 43 off and, you keep going at an average pace. I'm curious as to how long you were on it to actually attain the 43-pound loss and the 6 and down to 6 units. That would be interesting. If you want to let me know, that'd be great. So, okay, so there's that. So, we are going to get on today to some very, well, I want to look at some of the things that have been coming out this week in terms of AISH/Adap. It's kind of been a quiet news week. There's not a lot going on in terms of anything new, any new, sort of grand fuckery on the demos, on us, the people, the 80,000. The UCP seems to have satisfied the most nefarious parts of themselves where we're concerned, at least for the moment. But I would stay, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about what, the next problem is going to be. That's for sure. But I did kind of, come across a few new things that I want to share with all of you in regard to that. So there is a public live stream coming on, and I'm not promoting this in any respect, but I'm going to be there because I want, my grand hope is that the NDP gives an answer worth the respect of the people. I very much doubt they're going to. They're probably going to obfuscate and bullshit you, like Marie says, I'm not going to bullshit you. That statement is absolute bullshit, because she went on in that very message to literally bullshit you as about what they cannot do. That's absolute bullshit, and we have run it all down here. It is my grand hope that on Thursday they go, here's a potential plan. Here's what we're thinking. Even if it's lofty, right? Even if it can't merit every part of the proposal, at least they make one and they tell you this is potential. The people, us, we need hope right now, and we're not fucking getting it from the UCP. The Liberal Party is nowhere to be found, and the NDP is bullshitting you. Why? To get your vote. Don't give it to them. Make them work for it and respect your humanity. Anyway, excuse me, this Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Marie Renault will be on with, Zachary and Boy Wonder Colton Stevenson to give a hopefully a decent address this time, and they won't be playing the shit lib game of let's be really nice to each other now. I hope they don't do that. I hope that Marie understands that in politics you're going to take a lot of shit from the people. Why? because you're in politics. And what is the responsibility and the duty of the people? To hold you accountable. Not to blow smoke up your ass, to hold you accountable. So I hope Marie, if she hasn't already, really starts to grab a hold of that. If I were in politics, I would not want anyone to praise me necessarily. I would want the demos, the people, to hold me to account every day, right? Where I feel under pressure. Why? Because I need to perform for the people. I don't need to perform entertainment. It's not a circus. It's serious fucking business. And Marie needs to get down to it. We don't need to praise Marie. We don't even have to be nice to her or any other politician. We can state what we want and say, now get fucking busy. That's all we need to do. That's our job as a citizenry. So, if you want to, check it out, it's Thursday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, I guess, and you can find it on YouTube, probably on the NDP official site. So, the next thing, people applying to return from Adap to AISH are beginning to describe the actual adjudication machinery. Okay, so now that they're being thrown into the meat grinder, they're starting to be ground a little bit. A detailed community analysis posted approximately 5 days ago says an adjudicator first determines whether disability does not impede employment, substantially impedes employment, ADAP, or permanently prevents employment, possible referral to AISH's medical review panel. It doesn't mean that you're automatically transferred to AISH. It means that you can go through the ringer for a second time and go to this medical review panel to be reviewed by them. Right? This kind of trouble is lots of fun, huh? Even an adjudicator's recommendation does not restore AISH. The medical review panel makes the final decision from documents without a hearing, and its decision cannot be appealed. We know that. You can fucking go after them again and again and again and again. But you cannot appeal their decision made behind closed doors. Why this does not make us furious and storm the castle, I'm not sure. I don't know why. That is so absolutely ridiculous to me that you cannot appeal a decision made without you being at the table. That broadly agrees with the government's proper appeal structure, blah, blah, blah. There is one disturbing but unverified report. Okay, so this remains unverified, but as unverified as it is, it's still disturbing, that a transferred recipient applied for AISH reassessment and was allegedly found eligible for neither AISH nor ADAP. If accurate, this would contradict the public impression that transferred recipients could safely remain on ADAP while seeking AISH. However, no decision letter or independent confirmation has been published. It should presently be treated as a lead. Okay, so we have a lead, not as an established fact. It appears in the comments under the return to AISH discussion. Okay? So, what do you say about that? Except, I think it's been said. So, once again, you're going to open yourself up to scrutiny, and these fucks are going to tell you, hey, you don't get either, man. Out to fucking work you go. Right? When this person has had a guaranteed income for however long they've had it, now they have nothing. That's a scary fucking place to be, don't you think? I do. I think it's extremely scary should this met out all truthfulness. Whew. Next thing. Reports of missing or delayed payments and damaged files continue. Recent community posts describe people still waiting for their August money Documents allegedly not received despite being submitted. I know one of my good friends has not received hers yet, and she is on her way in front of the firing squad. You know, they are going to give her a call, and now she's going to have to, you know, pull the, well, you know, she's going to have to go to these programs, whatever they are, and they're going to start pulling the trigger aimed at her. And she is terrified, scared to death. And I've been talking to her, and I've been telling her, it's going to be okay. I want to know, I want a call with you as soon as you get off the phone with these pieces of shit. I want to know immediately everything they said, and we'll discuss it. I just had quelled her fears because she thought that a form letter that she got was a determination to get out to work. And no, that's not it. The very next day, she gets a letter saying, you're going to receive a phone call. And started, you know, shitting her pants. So, wow, huh? Documents allegedly not received despite being submitted, and one worker allegedly saying parts of a recipient's file were lost during the transition. These are individual counts, not yet verified province-wide count, but I don't really think it matters. If it's happening to one person, it can happen to another, number one. And number two, it doesn't matter if it happens to all of us. It happened to whoever these individuals are, and that's enough to make you hurt, to make you afraid for your life. Somebody's got to go up against these people in the legislature and ask them what the fuck they were doing, and to discontinue their grand project of austerity leading to existentialism for 80,000 Albertans. Somebody's got to be doing that work, man. Somebody. And so far the NDP only says scrap Adap, just two words that come out of their mouth like a puff of smoke that immediately disappear into the ether. How fucking horrible. Our political system is broken to the ground. Every piece of that machinery now lays on the ground. The wheels have fallen off, have stopped turning, and are completely broken. It's fucking horrible, man. Horrible. So what was not new was no new regulation or ministerial order, at least this week. No announced pause, repeal, or amendment. No filed or publicly confirmed charter, challenge, or class action. So nobody's out there yet. There are no lawyers like Boy Wonder here, this Colton Stevenson, right? Going up against the court. The guy's a goddamn lawyer. Like, get your ass in gear, man. Right? There's got to be lawyers out there doing this work. No new mainstream investigative report within the 7-day window. I'm talking about that very thing tomorrow, actually. No written Alberta NDP commitment containing an actual Adap, abolition plan. No written Alberta NDP commitment containing an actual Adap abolition plan. Nothing this week. No official public accounting of missing payments, lost records, reassessment results, or medical review panel outcomes, except for the ones that I shared with you. So, Adap has produced new evidence of administrative disorder and a legally narrow path back to AISH. But the government, there's been no policy, no new policy. You know, I mean, how many times can you get punched in the face, right? You know, they just want to bring you, it's like Christ's 39 lashes, right? They gave him 39 because 40 would kill you. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. You're on it for 4 months, says you, Linda. Okay. For 4 months. And you lost 43, so that's, what is it, 10.2 pounds a month? 10.4 pounds a month? Something like that. 10.3 pounds. That's a lot a month, really, you know, consistently, right? I mean, the first month, a lot of water and things like that drop off. I get that. That's a lot consistently, and maybe it would have been more in 1 month, right? Maybe 15 the first month or whatever. But that's pretty quick. That's very quick. So that is what is new this week so far. I will check it out for Thursday and attempt to bring y'all up to date on what is new, what isn't changing. But people are out there hurting, you know, and I have personal reference to this, you know, regarding a good friend of mine and how she is feeling through this whole process. So, you know, we're going to keep those people, man, you know, close to our hearts as they have to struggle through this, and we're going to be there for them through the process itself. So, you know, to me, this is like the beginning of the COVID shot. I didn't need to be at the head of that line. I didn't mind observing what was going on. And, you know what I mean? And this is the same way I want to observe at the moment. I think that's prudent. So that's what I'm doing. Linda says, yes, my church friend just brought me food. They think I am too skinny, but I think I need to lose 20 more pounds. Well, your friends would know, and, you know, there is a weight for your age and height that you know you should be at. So whatever that is would mark, you know, the weight loss that would still be healthy. But I am not a doctor. I play one on TV. What you need to do is talk to your doctor, of course. Don't listen to me about any of that. But that much I know. You know, I mean, your age and weight or age and height determine a lot of the, you know, what your baseline should be. So that much I know. Look at that for a drummer, huh? Pretty good. So I don't know who else is in here, but you all can say hello if you want to. I want to go back and deal with some of the erroneous government claims so that I can destroy them with you, not for you, but with you. And, you know, we can do a little bit of government deconstruction today. That's good. Blueberries, chocolate milk, and coffee. Oh my God. So we can get with that. And please say hello in the chat if you so please. So government claim, we're on number 8. Okay, I dealt with this last week. I never finished it. Well, I want to try and finish it up this week. Government claim 8, number 8. An appeal remains available, so recipients are protected. Protection without the power to challenge the decision is protection in name only. Alberta permits appeals of some ADAP decisions, not the one from this medical review panel, whoever the hell they are. And as far as I'm concerned, all of their names should be published so that we can figure out whether they know shit about what they're talking about behind a closed door. That's what I want to know. Alberta permits appeals of some ADAP decisions. 2 of the decisions carrying the greatest consequences sit outside the ordinary program appeal. The transfer from AISH to ADAP and the final decision that a person is medically ineligible for AISH, including a final decision by the AISH Medical Review Panel. Okay? And if you're wondering where I got that from, I got that from the Government of Alberta, Adap Appeals, Government of Alberta, Appeal Hearings and Judicial Review. Okay? A person may seek judicial review in the Court of King's Bench. That means entering a formal court process to challenge whether the decision was made lawfully, reasonably, and fairly. Well, if you can't get out of bed, if your energy is so lacking that you can't even do that much, how the hell are you going to seek a judicial review at the Court of King's Bench? And there are many, many people who may be denied their right, their civic, natural, provincial, and should be federal right to AISH, and they're never going to be able to fight it. All right? It does not provide the ordinary appeal in which an independent body decides whether the eligibility decision itself was correct on the facts and the law. The distinction determines whether a person can truly contest the loss of the higher benefit or merely ask a court to inspect the procedure that produced it. Right? More time, more energy, more waste. Right? Everything going back into the more money being spent on judges and judicial reviews and everything else when you could just leave fucking well enough alone. You could have just left it alone. An independent merits appeal does not threaten a sound decision. It tests it. Removing that test makes an error harder to expose and far harder for a disabled person to correct. The government has reserved enormous power for its assessment system while narrowing the recipient's power to answer it. Okay? So basically you can't appeal this decision. You just can't. The only thing you can do is take it to the Court of King's Bench. So that's not protection for us. That's exposure. It is authority sheltering itself from the people who must survive its mistakes. And that's exactly what it is. It is authority sheltering itself, keeping itself safe, right? Like people hauling away, I forget her name, you know, with the fuck your fascist pancakes, Danny, right? That's what protection looks like. Getting your ass hauled away by the protectors of Daniel Smith, right? And they are protecting themselves here, and so is the NDP by using two bullshit words, scrap ADAP. They're protecting themselves, and they need to be called out. If you show up to that town hall on Thursday with Marie Renault, don't protect her. Call her out. Ask her the most difficult questions you can think of. That's what I'll be doing. And who knows? I may get kicked out. Who knows? But ask the question. If more and more people start asking tough questions of our politicians instead of going, I love the NDP, I love the NDP, then we might actually get somewhere. We may actually get someone to stand up and say, or Marie Renault says, you know what, Mr. Nenshi, I can't fucking do this job anymore. You know, I like the 100 and whatever, 20 to 140 grand a year, but I simply can't do it. I can't hurt people this much. Claim number 9. The lower ADAP rate is temporary or will be offset by employment. The temporary $200 monthly payment for people transferred to AISH lasts only until December 31st, 2027. This we know. The calendar does not erase the cut, it schedules it. Possible future wages cannot be counted as present income. Excuse me, rent cannot be paid with a job that may never appear. Groceries cannot be purchased with an employer's promise to consider accommodations. Medication cannot wait for symptoms to cooperate with a work schedule. Okay? The government is treating predicted earnings as though they already exist, while treating a person's established needs as though they can be discounted. Doesn't matter about your need. You know? Right? All we care about is that you might be able to work. We don't care about what you need. This is another lie of the UCP in particular, right? We care about people. You know, that's why we want them to have the $200 top-up. Right? It's all bullshit, government, obfuscation, right? Doublespeak, if you will. The case depends upon recipients reliably earning at least the lost amount after taxes and work expenses, while keeping their health benefits and avoiding further damage to their health. The government has yet to produce that guarantee. It has produced only the classification. Two people with the same need for food, shelter, and medicine do not acquire different human worth because an assessor predicts that one might someday earn something. Someday. Guaranteed income must be compared with guaranteed income. AISH provides an amount, Adap provides a smaller amount and attaches the missing money to a hypothetical job. Claim number 10. Let me go back to the chat here. Michaela, that's right. Thank you. Azalea, I appreciate that. And Laura Lee is here. Laura Lee, how the hell you doing? Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Absolutely. So, I will go to government claim number 10. These are, of course, the claims of the government, which we are deconstructing today in real time and collapsing any fucking argument they have, all right? ADAP is fiscally responsible and protects AISH for those who need it most. Oh, isn't that nice? This argument turns disabled people against one another. It suggests that one group can be protected only by making another group poorer. That is a political choice disguised as arithmetic. The real cost of ADAP includes the ADAP benefit appropriation, the $41.28 million medical review panel contract, the $98 million between Serco and AKG, okay? Eligibility and adjudication staff, new information systems and administrative changes, contracted assessment, case management and employment services, reconsiderations, disputes, and court proceedings, the temporary transition payment, medical forms, records, travel, advocacy, and lost time imposed on recipients, and the cost of poverty transferred to families, hospitals, shelters, municipalities, police, courts, and corrections. When you take all of that into account, you realize that the UCP is not saving a goddamn dime. Far be it from any saving is the exponential amount that they are spending, right? Upwards to $2.3 billion per year should there be a failure rate under ADAP of 30%. Okay? And most of that is taken up in the last point. The hospitals, the shelters, municipalities, police, courts, and corrections institutions. Right? It costs the government anywhere from $75,000 to $150,000 a year to incarcerate someone. It costs them $22,000 on AISH. What the fuck's the problem? What's the problem? Except that there isn't a problem. So why are they doing this? You know, that's hard to establish, but the assumptions can be made. And that is that they're just not that into you. maybe, I don't know, you know, I'm spitballing here, but maybe the world has too many people. And, you know, maybe just like a certain country in Europe around the 1930s, some people are dispensable first, right? Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Y'all can tell me what you think. And if that's true, then God damn it, we need to get democracy, true democracy, back in a hurry, or it ain't going to be good for us. And that's why the civic corpus that I'm doing Monday and Thursday is so important, because it shows a direct way back to literal democracy, literal respect of the human being, pragmatic, doable. If the people will only stop being peasant-minded, excuse me, praising the king of Calgary City Hall or Edmonton City Hall or the Edmonton legislature or anybody in it. Because our political system is 100% broken. It ain't coming back. Sort of like normal after COVID. Ain't coming back. Our governments are not coming back without the complete will of the people dismantling the apparatus. That you can be sure of. And that should be our work, and we should be happy to do it. We should be. So that total, the one in which I've just described, must be compared with one adequate AISH program, because now there's two programs. Meaningful earnings protection and voluntary employment support, right? You want a job? We'll help you. That's what we're here to do. Right? As much as Reagan was a douche, like complete and utter, at least one of his statements holds true, and that he said whatever it is, the 7 worst words in government are, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Right? You should run away if you hear that. That's good. Excuse me. Disability income is a public obligation. It is the obligation of government. Peter Lougheed settled that in the mid-70s. Alberta can publish its full cost, identify the taxes and resource revenues that support it, protect the benefit during downturns, and use sustainable Heritage Fund earnings to strengthen long-term adequacy while preserving the fund's principle. The government's talking about these goddamn AI centers, right, as necessary components of Alberta wealth, when they've been screwing us out of the Heritage Fund since the mid-80s. Ostensibly, between $300,000 and $350,000 per person since the 80s up until today. That's what you should have necessarily in your bank account if they would have done it correctly. Not only did they not, shore up the mechanism of it, nobody knows where that money went. Did they steal it? It certainly didn't go into anything really that ascertainable, really observable. It went somewhere and no one can account for where it went, when it should have gone to us, and it should have gone to the programs like this and infrastructure, and it didn't go there. Once again, we've been fleeced, right? And we care so much about what's happening down in the States. We got to get our shit together here. All right? I'm not saying that the U.S. doesn't have influence, but it doesn't fucking matter at this point. We got to get it together here, right now. Just like Van Halen said. Fiscal responsibility cannot mean displaying every dollar paid to a disabled person while hiding every dollar spent assessing, monitoring, rejecting, and managing that person. Huh? It cannot mean celebrating a saving in one ministry while an emergency room, shelter, police service, or family absorbs the damage. Huh? Huh? And this is what they do. You know, they save somewhere in their budget, and they say we saved money, but they don't account for the fact, and they know it, but they don't account for the fact that they have spent more money in this area and that area for that one person. Well, we saved it here because we kicked their ass out, right? But now that person is eating up the system in terms of hospital, ambulance, policing, incarceration, whatever it is. They never tell you that. They don't tell you that. Alberta possesses extraordinary public wealth. The question is whether that wealth exists to protect human life, or whether human life must first prove its usefulness to the economy. Are you a good little capitalist or a bad little capitalist? I want to know. The money exists. The harm is a choice of your government. And when the NDP as well says scrap Adap, it is the choice of the NDP government. The money exists, their harm is a choice. Don't forget that. I mean, just keep that at the forefront of your mind. This may help us challenge the types of government that exist right now that are all broken and that do not work for the people. Government Claim 11. International evidence supports activation. No, it doesn't. And this is the claim. And now I will destroy the claim for you, and we will do that together. Activation is a global system of power. Across Canada, the European Union, Britain, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and the Nordic countries, governments increasingly classify disabled people by work capacity, direct them toward employment systems, attach conditions to support, and treat lower benefit roles as evidence of progress. Every, country necessarily, G7, G8, are all doing this, right? Right? And what else are we doing? We're elevating the oligarch that will never pay anything for their crime. They will take social assistance from their government to tunes of millions, if not billions of dollars to support their needs, right? And I was watching a podcast today in which, I forget the name of the company, one of the biggest companies in the world, Chinese owner, and they just sentenced him, I think, to life in prison in China for basically doing what happened with the 2008 crash, right? Just in terms of his company. So it was so devastating what was potential to happen to their economy that they put that multi-billionaire in jail, I believe, for the rest of his life. And what do? We celebrate ours. We celebrate those criminals. China? Well, something different for those guys, all right? Because China knows it should be afraid of its people, and it is. That's why there is heavy surveillance, which nobody accepts. Nobody accepts. That's why you can easily talk about your government. Nobody accepts that, of course, right? But if you try to screw with them and screw with the people to bring their economy down, you're done. Doesn't matter if you got billions or not. Don't matter. And so what's happening here? What's happening across the G8? We are moving the disabled. We're not saying they're disabled anymore necessarily. They're going to have to prove that twice, right? And it may just be easier in this new adjudication process for you to be not accepted into the fold in which you were perfectly and justifiably and judiciously placed on Adap because of the determination of a sincere group of individuals, your doctor, and the knowledge that you knew you couldn't work, and you're not shitting anybody. And what is a UBI anyway? It's a universal basic income given to everyone for the mere fact that they exist. Now, I'm careful with the UBI because it has to be a UBI on whose terms. If it's on the OECD's terms, the WF's terms, my government's terms, digital banking's terms, no. But we are headed toward that anyway, regardless. So the question becomes, on whose terms does this world revolve and exist? Ours or theirs? Okay. So we've dealt with the G7, the G8, and how they're heading. The language repeats because the governing idea repeats. All right? So the language is the same. They may met it out slightly differently. You know, Australia might look a little different than Canada. The US looks different than Canada in terms of what they're doing, which is just as horrific. But it all ends the same way. Okay, the end of the story, same story. The Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, helps build this international order. Okay, it does. All right, we dealt with that last week. It's not conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy truth. All right? It produces the research, comparisons, measurements, and policy recommendations through which governments learn to see disabled people as labor market problems. You're a problem of capitalism. I can't make money off of you. How can I make money off of you? If I can't, you're not worth anything. You have a dollar amount affixed to you. That's either something, nothing, or a subtraction in their minds and in their ideologies. The World Economic Forum, or WEF, brings political, corporate, and institutional power into the same governing conversation. Your government, as Klaus Schwab said, not only do I have the Justin Trudeau, I have half of the cabinet. I have half of this cabinet. So, these bodies help decide which problems matter, which outcomes count, and which reforms are presented as modern, responsible, and inevitable, of which they're neither. They've happened before. It's not modern. It's certainly not responsible, and it certainly doesn't need to be inevitable. What can be inevitable is you just leave the disabled class the fuck alone. How's that? How's that as an inevitability? And this is power by proxy, right? So it starts with an ideology. It starts with a basic understanding, whatever that is, through these quote-unquote think tanks. And at these think tanks are government officials, many, I forget how many delegates Canada alone has to the OECD. I said it last week, 30, 60, something like that. Delegates from Canada that take part in discussions with the OECD and the WEF, for that matter. And so the WEF, the OECD, they go, well, this is a good plan. Of course, it's horrible for us. Now you go back to your government, now you go back to Canada, see what kind of legislation you can implement, right? See where this goes. If somebody needs to be bought and paid for, we got that, right? This is how it works, right? You and I speak a certain way. They and them also speak a certain way. And it's not the way we speak, just so you know. Ideas become reports. Reports become standards. Standards become funding priorities. Departmental targets, contracts, assessments, and laws. A policy travels from the international institution into the domestic bureaucracy until the ideology begins to look like common sense. See? This is how Daniel Smith is able to bullshit her voting base, right, and a certain amount of the middle class, right, by making it look like common sense. It isn't common sense at all, and we broke it down on every podcast as to how this is not common sense. It only looks like that. If all you need is the quick observation of something. Oh, that looks good. Okay, what's for lunch? We know better. We know far better. The global ethos is unmistakable. Disability is translated into work capacity. Income security is translated into labor market participation, right? Income insecurity into labor market participation. Public obligation is translated into individual compliance, meaning their obligation becomes our obligation and our compliance. Human need is translated into fiscal cost. Removal from benefits is translated into success. And institutional control is translated into support. Voluntary employment assistance, accessible workplaces, and strong accommodations can enlarge freedom. Activation takes those legitimate needs and places them inside a system that makes employment the test of responsible citizenship and economic usefulness, the measure of a deserving life. Sick. That is a sickness of the mind, everything I just read to you. That is the sickness of the mind of Danielle Smith. Huh? If the NDP do not come forward with a plan, that is a sickness in the mind of the NDP and the people in that party. It is a sickness, a psychological sickness. And that is not you. You are healthier of mind than your government is. Alberta has imported that system into Adap. The province chose its law, its rates, its contracts, its assessment machinery, and its appeal restrictions. Global power supplies the governing ethos. Alberta gives that ethos legal force. Now we're gonna fuck you. Here we come, look out. Maybe not. Maybe look out for us. I'm gonna go back to the chat. Let's go back to the chat, shall we? Oh, there's people saying stuff, things, and junk. Okay, Linda says, I know some people who, sorry, I want to finish my drink, just give me. That's so good. Linda says, I know some people who voted for UCP believe that if a person can drive, then they can work. Really, huh? I know a woman that has CP, is that right? CP, yep. And drives a car. But outside of that, she ain't good for nothing. And I'm not saying that to put her down at all. She would say the same thing herself. All right? She can still drive, but you try to get her to focus, you try her to get anything done, and not only that, psychologically, she'd be a little messed up. She can't hold a job. That is so ridiculous, shallow, and bullshit. I hope that these people saying that if they can drive, Linda, they can work, have a degree in psychology, medicine, sociology, and science. Otherwise, they should shut the fuck up, don't you think? That is so shallow, ignorant, two-dimensional, status quo, matrix thinking idiocy. It is Idiocracy, the movie, right there. So tell them, all right, that they should have been cast in Idiocracy, the movie. They would have done well. Ridiculous. Laura Lee, if you could work, don't you think you would be working? Yes. No one wants to sit at home, broke, or live in poverty. Being isolated, not able to go anywhere because you are in pain with limited mobility. Yeah, nobody wants that for their life. People don't choose it. Right, Laura Lee? People don't choose that. People want to be engaged in life, right? They want to. They want to be of value to their community, don't they? Yes, they do. That is absolutely human, right? And I'll go back, Linda, to, you know, what they say, if you can drive, you can work, right? We do not live in a society that values the type of work that some individuals may show their greatest strength, right? You know, what these people are alluding to is under a capitalist system, and the schmucks that are saying this to you live inside a capitalist system in which their dreams will never be meted out, and they say, well, I don't care, you know, I'm working. Well, then you're a peasant-minded shithead, right? That only the king, look at how good the king is. Isn't the king good? He's building us a $2.1 billion arena. The king is good. While you live in squalor and have to sweat your whatever off every day of your life just so somebody else has more than you. That's a peasant mind. And it's a sickness as well. And these people that think that way, maybe they should themselves consider AISH, because there is something emotionally broken in every one of them. And I say that as the truth, not to castigate them, right? Next time they say that to you, ask them if you can take their temperature, because they just may have something sick going on inside. And you're right, Laura Lee, people want to be valuable, right? Now, your humanity has all value. You don't have to do anything to earn your place in this world. It is my firm belief that property, that food, shelter, and clothing should be granted to every citizen. Why? Because we're here. Because we ended up here, right? Everything else is community-based, not oligarchic-based, not corporate-based, right? Civic governance, not even government necessarily. Civic governance, where you take part in your political life, right? Into whatever that means. Voting, engaging, right? Debating, constructing ideas, thoughts, legislation. That should be the job of the public, not the fucking politician. It's because we said, excuse me, we got too busy and therefore we needed representative government to represent us. I don't believe that. I think we're far too busy, and I think that is a metric of capitalism itself. We're going to make you busy, you're not going to have time for politics. See what I mean? When that is the responsibility of every citizen on this earth. That's what my civic corpus is about, Linda. Laura Lee, just so you know. Well, Linda too, if you want to know. Linda, that UCP voter was talking about me and another person because I drive. But I stay at home a lot because I am sick a lot. She was telling me to go to work a long time ago. I did work in the past. I hope she's not a friend of yours. I mean, with friends like that, you don't, right? Who needs enemies, right? I mean, Jesus. You know, I love every human being, but I don't have to be around every human being in order to love them. They can be far away from my purview, and I can still say, no, as a human being, I love you. I have to accept the humanity of all other people. So if people want to act this way, Linda, they are entitled to act that way. That does not mean I have to be anywhere around you, and I would not want to be. We don't need to be friends. And once again, this is a sick ideology of a sick world, right? Right? This person has been educated this way. Their mind is that of a peasant. They cannot break into any greater thought. They are not creative. They are not thoughtful. They are not benevolent. They are not loving. You don't need to entertain it. What you want are good people around you that you can judge in some form are quote unquote good, right? Meaning that you feel good when you're around them, right? You know, they lift you up, you know, they make you feel good. You know, Linda, I think you could do anything you wanted to. That doesn't mean you have to. Linda, there is strength in you somewhere where I believe you are invaluable to your community. I don't know what that is. You know what that is. And you know how much of it you can do. That's a beautiful thing, Linda. It's beautiful. Right? I accept you for who you are, and I believe that you have greatness. Not this. Whatever kind of douchebaggery this is. Sick. Sick. Linda, she was surprised I worked in the past. She assumed that I did not. Well, of course, everything she says is based on assumption, Linda. Everything. She doesn't have a factual thought in her head. She doesn't know anything. At least she knows nothing of which she speaks. Right? And a person that knows nothing of which they speak should what? Keep their mouth shut. And learn something, right? I even had 2 diplomas. I went to get a college education in order to work. Yeah, right. Linda, yes. Yes, Linda says, yes, I agree with you. Her daughter is in the same group home as my daughter. They both have autism. Wow. Yeah, well, once again, you know, she should keep her mouth shut. And, you know, you could tell her that. You know, why don't you talk about things that you know something about, right? Like peeling carrots. Not government, not disability, not the psychological mind, not the biological, right? Stick to peeling carrots. Why don't we talk about that? I'm sure you know something about that. That's what I would say. I'm sorry. That's what I would tell somebody that is so fucking ignorant and full of themselves. And I get it, Linda, maybe you wouldn't, but I was having a conversation like that. I'd say, look, you need to stick to your lane. And that might be as simple as peeling a carrot, okay? But you do not know or understand the mind, the body, right? The biopsychosocial nature of individuals. So why don't we have a different conversation? Because not only are you pissing me off, but you're making yourself look like a fool. Why do that to yourself? Love yourself. Stop that. Laura Lee says, it's impossible for my son to work. It's ridiculous. Now the horrible reassessment again. Yeah. Well, if you know that, Laura Lee, everyone else is going to know that. And I think your son, although the stress of going through this, yeah, and you just said it, so much stress, lack of sleep, trying to find documents again. Jesus, I know. Like, you know, right? Like what it levies on you in terms of those things, Laura Lee, is an injustice. It's already been said, it's already been done. I'm sure that anyone without a medical degree could probably look at your son and go, you know what? AISH. Right? Right. And that's what a good community would do. That's why I am bringing forward the civic corpus. 200 pages of how to do it right. Not only, you know, some bloviating 200-page sack of nothing, but pragmatic, biopsychosocial, fiscal, how it can be done, architectural, everything that I can think of is taken care of in this corpus. And please tune in, because I want everyone's input into this. Everyone's. It is not about me, and it's not about the guy, Tyrell, helping me. It's not a debate between him and I, it's a debate amongst all of us. The citizenry, the polis, right? The democratic people in our society. That's what I want. I want people to elevate it where it should be and to collapse it where it should be. No, Gavin, that doesn't work, and here's why. Great. And I feel for you, Linda, you know, or Laura Lee, sorry. I mean, I feel for you too, Linda. But Laura Lee, I feel for you, you know. Shitty, really shitty. She helped me get my daughter into the same group home as her daughter. I do not associate with her much otherwise. Yeah, you know, just yeah. Hey, how you doing? You know, run away. Yeah, I get you. Annette, hey, how you doing? Hi everyone. I'm late, but I am here, and we are thankful you are. So, I think right now is a tremendous time for an aperitif, no? I believe it is. Oh, I believe it is, Mr. Sorosian. So, there I am talking to myself again. It keeps me entertained and out of trouble. So, where do I want to go? Why don't we go to, you know, the tremendous offering that Chantel gave us, the beautiful song, We Are Still Here. You know, we don't play that enough, I don't think, and I would love to hear it myself right now. So, take a moment, sit back, relax, have that orange sorbet for the soul, and I will be back with you momentarily.
Coming to the steps where the quiet voices rise, where the parents bring the paperwork and the hungry children cry. Are you coming to the steps where the sick are told to wait, where they cut the hands that held us up, then call the damage fate? We are still here. Still here, our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here, we stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Are you coming for the children who were promised care and time, where the forms replace the helping hands and support becomes a line? Are you coming for the families who have begged and called and tried, while the doors keep closing quietly and the need stays locked inside? We are still here. We are still here. Our backs against the wall without fear. We are still here. We stand as one. We'll fight their lies until our work is done. Don't go quiet. Don't go alone. Let them reap what they have sown. They could never hide their shame. It is they who bear the blame. Are you coming for the sick ones who can't lose another thread, where the medicine, the rights, the care stand between the living and the dead? Are you coming for the renters with the notice on the door, where the
indicate that right now on AISH, you can earn up to about $1,000.
Hey, get back here. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The song du jour, song of the day. I'm not sure what the soup is. I will let you know from the kitchen. Beautiful song, of course, right? You know, gives us just a minute to kind of relax, reflect, breathe in, breathe out. If anyone is wondering what's on Gavin's wrist today, it is Creed Aventus. Now, I only have the decant of it. I wish I had a bottle, and I may get one. But a very nice scent from the Creed, House of Creed. Very nice, very nice. So, I am going to go back to the chat and just see if anyone... Oh, somebody said something. Laura Lee, my son used to volunteer at Calgary Expo, but now he can't because of his limitations. Right, so he was doing what he could, when he could, right, Laura Lee? I mean, this is the respect we give the human being, right? And we thank them for their service. And how do we thank them? By honoring their service and giving them, you know, the respect of where they are at in life, knowing full well that they have already given in every capacity they possibly could. And should they be taken care of in this moment, in this epoch, who knows what greatness they may come up with, whether that's the mind, right, or the creation of the hands, right? There's always something someone can produce. And if they cannot produce it all, doesn't matter. We respect you for being human. Isn't this the way the indigenous did it, more or less? I mean, I'm not romanticizing the indigenous. They have their problems too. Slavery, right? They have their own shit going on. But they also really understood what it meant to respect nature and human life, right? They could not fathom, I forget what the name of the guy, Wandingo or something like that, forget, somewhere in eastern Canada, like we're talking the 17-something or 18-something, and he could not fathom that you hit your children, or that you know, so many things that colonialism brought that the indigenous were just like, what is that, right? Even like the diseases that they carried. To them, the indigenous, they were filthy, right? And we called the indigenous savages. I don't think so. I don't think so. We had something to learn, and we didn't learn it. Like respect for humanity. Pretty plain and simple. He would love to work again, but he can't, and it's hard on him. I can imagine, right? That's hard on the psyche, right, Laura Lee? Absolutely. And I feel for him in that struggle, you know, because we want to produce, right? We want to do something, yeah? And, yeah, my heart goes out to you. Yes, it's a beautiful song, says Linda. Yeah, love it, right? Love it, Linda. Annette, this bloody system government just doesn't realize that people have limitations and can only do so much. They expect us to work ourselves to death. Yes. Yes. Well, you know, the work is immaterial, right? Because Alberta is 52,000 jobs short of a baseline amount of jobs necessary for the province alone, right? They know you're not going to work. So with us being a part of the disability class, excuse me, there's very little hope that we find anything of any substance, anything that we can do, anything that we can hold our attention on, right? That we can focus on, right? That we can keep pace with. There's going to be very few things out there, and certainly not enough. Now having thrown, ostensibly 45,000 disabled people into the labor market when there's 52,000 jobs already that are necessary for the able-bodied to work, right? right? So I don't believe that it's the expectation of work. It is the very last word, as far as I can tell. And I'm settled there on that notion so that I don't have to ask any more questions. I can just simply fight with the knowledge that this is the end game. It has to be. It is not about you motivating yourself, right? And feeling better about yourself because you have a job. And it's not about that, man. It ain't about that. They don't give a shit. Like I said, your government is just not that into you. They're just not that into you, right? Even the fuckery of YouTube. I've noticed lately that my numbers have fluctuated. They've gone up a little bit and then back down. And I heard another podcast, was watching another podcast today, about how even YouTube kind of screws with your numbers depending on what you're discussing, depending on the material coming forward. That could be a potential metric that they use to determine whether or not your numbers go up and down. Pretty crazy, man. You know? Pretty crazy, if such is the truth. I'm not saying I know any better. You guys are speaking up today, and I love it. Thank you. Keep those cards and letters coming. Claim 12. Critics oppose work and want people trapped on benefits. Critics oppose work and want people trapped on benefits. Trapped on benefits? How can I be trapped? How can I be trapped if my basic necessities are taken care of? Isn't that freedom? Doesn't that free up time, resources, the mind? Because now my mind isn't running 10 programs at once as to what I'm going to do, living in fear every day of my life. People are trapped when survival depends upon satisfying a system that can neither guarantee suitable work nor tolerate the disability that prevents it. People are trapped when survival depends upon satisfying a system that can neither guarantee suitable work nor tolerate the disability that prevents it. The alternative is clear. Keep one adequate disability income program, one, called what? Adap? No, AISH, right? Restore meaningful earnings protection. Provide voluntary employment assistance. Should you like a job, madame, monsieur? Allow people to work when they can without forcing them to surrender long-term security. Preserve medical and health benefits when employment begins, changes, or ends. Restore ordinary appeal rights. Remove the separate ADAP classification system all together. Right? This approach supports work because it makes trying possible, right? And that's what we want, is potential, right? The greatest gift I feel that you can give someone is not money, it's opportunity, right? I want to give you an opportunity. What is your skill set? What do you love? What do you love? What puts you to bed at night and what gets you up in the morning? I want to provide that to you. And there is a system, such as my civic corpus, that integrates that holistically. You give back to the community in the way that suits your, I hate to say gifting, but your ability, your heart's desire. That's it. That's it. A person can attempt employment without fearing that one period of improved health will be used as evidence against years of disability, right? Because you screw up one day, you call in sick, right? You can't do it, and now where are you? We don't even know what that means yet. We have yet to, I think, ascertain the evidence of that. What happens when someone fails psychologically or biologically? Huh? We don't know that yet. We don't have that yet. A failed placement becomes useful information instead of an accusation. Support remains when the labor market fails to accommodate that person. Support remains when the labor market fails to accommodate that person. Security does not imprison people. Security gives them somewhere safe to stand while they test what is possible. What is my potential? I don't have to worry because I'm not forced, all right? I have the freedom of my mind to, you know, be able to think, right? Be at ease with my thoughts, to contemplate what I can do, right? That's respect. That's respect for the person, for human nature. And this world does not need to do, da. This world needs to fucking relax, as far as I'm concerned. Chill the fuck out. The earth ain't going nowhere, right? We have time. We have time. We have resources, right? Let's eat an apple and think about a better way to do things. Once again, that's the civic corpus tomorrow. Please tune in. Adap reverses that truth. It threatens the floor and calls the resulting motion freedom. Why? Because they're not moronic. They are nefarious, demonic evil, in a sense. In the sense that they have lost their humanity, they have sold it for a mess of pottage, for literally almost nothing at all, right? The burden belongs to the government. The government designed the transition. The government must prove that a separate disability program is required to provide employment assistance, and we already know it's not. That work capacity assessments can predict reliable and sustainable earning power, and they can't, because 52,000 jobs is what we are short right now. For the able-bodied, let's call them that, or the able-minded, but I take umbrage with that because this entire society, we're all fucked up. Every one of us. We are all suffering a mass psychosis. That enough suitable jobs and accommodations exist for the people being classified. That enough suitable jobs and accommodations exist for the people being classified, and they don't. I just said 52,000 jobs. That recipients are better off after benefit reductions, work expenses, and health effects are counted, and that's ridiculous. Like, every one of these can be completely dismantled, destroyed, collapsed by us knowing knowing only what we need to know about human nature itself. You see, everything that ADAP is goes against the human being, right? And the structure of a proper society, every part of it, every part of it, every part of it. Debate me on that. That reassessing people already accepted for AISH corrects a proven problem. What problem? Please do tell me what that problem was, because there wasn't a problem. If anybody was, taking advantage of the system, it was, I'm sure, no more than 0.5%. And that is of no consequence fiscally to any taxpayer or any human being. It simply doesn't matter. It will always exist. Upwards of 3% in any program such as this. And with AISH, it was probably 0.5 or less. It is immaterial to anyone's case. That restricted appeal rights produce accurate and fair decisions. That ADAP's full administrative and social cost is lower than one adequate benefit with voluntary employment support, and we already know it's not. We know that AISH being about 1.6, 1.7 billion, with the failure rate of ADAP being at 30%, will rise to approximately $2.2, $2.3 billion on both programs. And Danielle Smith told her voting base that she's saving money, that the party is saving money, right? And these people believe it, right? And they, oh yeah, there's so many people taking advantage of AISH. Ah, fuck you. Why don't you, if you believe that, give me the statistics. I would love to know it, because they actually don't have a statistic. But in general terms, no more than 3% is possible in any system like this. And in AISH's case, because you need a doctor, and that doctor is not going to risk his job, would be about 0.5%. 0.5%, which is just inconsequential to anyone. So that argument, and once again, just ask him, give me the stat. I want the statistic. I want to know. Smart ass, you know, right? Right? Oh, there's too many people taking advantage. Well, then tell me the number. Then we can have a conversation. Otherwise, you don't know shit, and you just want to sound like you're smart. And there's something in you that you can't accept about your human nature in order to afford people the respect of having what they need to survive. That's on you, buddy. That's somewhere in you. That eats you. What is that? Carl Jung would love to know. That ADAP's full administrative and social consequences, that the same employment goals cannot be achieved while preserving income, health benefits, and appeal rights. Of course, again. The government has offered employment independence, modernization, sustainability, and support. Those sound so good. These words describe the image it wants to project, right? Like Plato's cave, right? Right? That you see the mirage, you see what you think. That's all it produces. They describe an image on the wall, not the reality. They do not prove that ADAP is necessary, effective, or humane. And maybe that should be up to red. Prove that ADAP is humane, effective, and necessary. The system of global activation gives Alberta a ready-made language and a ready-made set of tools. It makes classification appear scientific. It's not. We know that. Conditional income appear responsible while the government rips off the Heritage Fund, right? Even if it were responsible and it's not, these should not be the people looking after or being the ones heralded as responsible. They're the most irresponsible people we know in Alberta. And a shrinking caseload appears successful. Well, it's not, because you could disappear because you no longer exist. But to them, you're a number and you save them money, right? Even though they had to spend twice as much, 3 times as much, just on you alone over there. But they won't tell anybody about the over there, right? Alberta remains responsible for turning that ideology into provincial law and inflicting its consequences upon disabled people. You're goddamn right. That's the only responsibility that they have, is that they remain responsible for trying to screw us. Yes? Yes. Let me go back to the chat. Le shot. Let me see here. I got Annette, Laura Lee. Daniel has bad karma, and it will catch up with her. The universe gives back what you put out. Her decisions have consequences. The problem is, Laura Lee, excuse me. Excuse me. The problem, Laura Lee, is I don't want to wait. I'm impatient. You know? Why can't we get there now? Why can't we have a society that will not allow for the horrific nature of human beings to be actualized or realized in the real world? That's not to say the world is going to be perfect. It means that people like this, like the Daniel Smith we speak of, could never hold office or power of anything, right? That the only thing Daniel Smith would be in a proper society is pitied or thrown out of the community if she persisted in thinking that harm was good. The only reason Daniel Smith thinks that harm is good, by the way, as far as I know, is the fact that she sold her integrity and everything that she ever stood for a mess of pottage, for a private Learjet flight to Saudi Arabia and a moment with Donald Trump. And to be part of an apparatus that makes her money. Right? And you're right, that is to be, I hate to use the word pity, but you almost have to here. I don't pity any of us. This is a pitiable moment, but we are strong, damn it. We are intellectual, right? We have an intellect. We know what it means to be human. We know we are so close to earth, to touching grass, right? That we actually stand in the best place and the only place that human beings should necessarily be, right? Which is at the level of the earth itself. Not lifted up and lofted above. None of us deserve that. Nobody. If there's a Christ, I would even hope he'd say, you know what? It ain't about me, man. It's about you. You know, look around, take care of your brother, take care of your sister. No one should be elevated to that degree. And why can I say that? Because I lived that life for many, many years, where I saw myself lifted further than I needed to be, and I took advantage of it, right? And I thought that I was really great, and I saw way too many people fall to the worst parts of their human nature because they thought they were that too. That's why I can speak to it. Annette says, I sure hope so, Laura Lee. Excuse me, it comes back on her twofold. Yeah, tenfold. 100-fold, Annette. Laura Lee, what you put out, you get back. It is universal law. It is, but you know what? I want that to be in real time. I can't say that enough. I want that to be immediate. Why? Because then we do not suffer, right? We are talking about this as in someday. My civic corpus makes that immediate. And it makes it non-existent, more or less. Why? Because a community would never want Danielle Smith, and they would never vote for her in a healthy society, in a healthy community. She would never get the vote, ever. And if anyone attempted what Danielle Smith is doing, they would immediately be cast out of any political responsibility, and they would be held accountable for their actions immediately. Judiciously held accountable. Yeah, Annette says, yeah, I don't think an employer is going to let me rest 4 to 5 times a day or have pee breaks up to 8 times a day or continuously check on my sugars. Nope, they ain't. And that's in a way that you know, although it may seem like a curse to your body, Annette, and I understand that completely. It is in this, only maybe in this instance, a blessing. For the nefarious nature of what we're all incurring, this is the way in which you say, sorry, dude, you want from this, you ain't gonna get it. You can't get blood from a stone, and you can't get 4 or 5 good days from me. All right? That's the reality. Okay? Do you like to live in reality, sir? Because if you do, that's your reality. Is that what you want? Is that what you want for your employees around here? To watch me take pee breaks 8 times a day? You don't think they're going to get pissed off and you go, hey, where's my piss break, man? Why no. You don't want that hassle. I'm going to go home now. Okay? Thanks. Annette, exactly. If able people cannot find employment, how hard will it be for the disabled community to find employment? They can't. They would hire an able-bodied person before a disabled person every time, hands down. Every time, hands down, Annette. Laura Lee, thanks, Gavin, for the podcast. I wish I could stay and continue to listen. Everyone have a great evening. You too, Laura Lee. Thank you very much. Love you. Love you. You're amazing. You are simply amazing, Laura Lee. And we appreciate you. So, sorry, I just want to look at something that I have not looked at. Okay. We got some time. We got a little bit of time. So what this means for the Alberta NDP, okay, now that we have satisfied the fact that the UCP is just nothing, just literal fecal matter under our shoe, with nothing, with no argument, with nothing, literally nothing, except power that they should not have, which shows us how twisted our society is at the moment. What does this mean for the Alberta NDP? Okay? Because they're the ones coming on TV in 2 nights, on Thursday at 7 p.m. Right? So, what does it mean for them? These bastions of virtue. The Alberta NDP condemns the cruelty of the United Conservative Party's Adap transition, while refusing to publish the machinery of abolition. And they know it. They know what that looks like. They know what it is. Because I know what it is, and I've already brought it forward to you all last week. 4 days. Sorry, 5 days. I brought it to you. And if I might have started it the week before, which makes it an entire week that I brought forward the ways in which the NDP can collapse this and the things they can do right now, the things that they can do should they be a minority government, or the things that, or the absolute abolition should they become a majority. And the fact that even if they're a minority doesn't mean they can't do something extremely substantial. That silence of the NDP matters. The NDP may oppose the $200 reduction. We all do. What else you got? The NDP may oppose the $200 reduction while preserving the system that made the reduction possible, just like they did when they had power in 2018-19, right? They did bring it up to more or less a market basket index, but they left the entire mechanism in place for this very thing to happen. They could have done much to dismantle it back then, and they didn't. And they took away valuable medicines from the citizenry themselves without any replacement for it. And they didn't have to do that. And they knew they didn't, and they did. The NDP may oppose the $200 reduction while preserving the system made reduction possible. Work capacity assessment, activation, okay, contractors, targeted income security and success measured through employment participation and lower public expenditure, right? While preserving the system that made the reduction possible. So the work capacity assessment, the activation, the contractors, the targeted income security and success measured through employment participation and lower public expenditure. These are the things they could be talking about right now. Do they think we're stupid? And we can't understand it? Is that what it is? We all understand what this means, right? Why are they not telling the people? Let me know. Inquiring minds, right? It may offer a kinder assessor. Whatever the hell that means. It may offer a kinder assessor a large payment, or a larger payment, a better contractor. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Well, you mean like one that doesn't work for the fucking military? Like that? A gentler letter and a different program name. None of those changes answers the central question. Will disability income remain conditional upon an official prediction of economic usefulness? A better question, or a better dictate from us, is get rid of ADAP now. Or, okay, so we know they can't get rid of it now. That's not what I'm saying, and I think people know that. All right? What I am saying is if you want to be a majority government, right? If that is actually what you want, that's what we assume they want, but they may not even want to be. You know, other think tanks and things like that might say it's better if you're a majority. Now, why might that be the case? I don't necessarily know. right? It could be that the UCP is doing a good job of the OECD and the WEF and these other think tanks. But they go, you know what? No, you don't need to be a majority to get this done. You go in there and make it look like you're fighting, right? You provide the theater. And that's all that has come out of the NDP so far is theater. That's it. You provide the theater. The global ethos is to collapse the disability system. Okay? All right? Why? Maybe because, ultimately the world is sustainable, I believe, with 8 billion people. I believe it is. But it would be far better for the oligarch if there weren't so many. I know, it sounds silly, doesn't it? Sounds like, what? A conspiracy theory. But then you tell me why. If that's you can't have it both ways. You can't just say that I'm a conspiracy theorist and then you have no answer. Call me a conspiracy theorist and give me a fucking answer then. What's the answer? Because I don't know it. And I'm willing to accept or at least be able to investigate an idea that you have. The problem is, most people don't have an idea. They just call you what they call you, and for them, that's sufficient. What does that do? It satisfies their, gives them a dopamine hit, I guess, and that's all they're looking for. They don't want to be known as bright or intelligent or having any intellect at all. Scrap ADAP can mean abolishing the separate employment condition system. It can also mean preserving its machinery under new branding. And God knows we all love us some branding these days. What a sick fucking word. Branding? Like I need to be branded? I don't need to be branded. I need to be Gavin. Right? That's all I need. And I need to bring what I consider to be valuable information to people. I don't need a brand. And those that think they do, you're sick. You got a problem. You got a problem. The world is not about branding. It's about the human being and the respect thereof. These are opposing policies hiding inside the same slogan. Strategic ambiguity, something the NDP loves to use, and so does every other political party on the planet. Strategic ambiguity. Strategic ambiguity allows different audiences to hear different promises. The party keeps its freedom. The public receives hope without terms. And this is our ignorance. This is what we must get away from. Well, they said scrap ADAP. What does that mean? I don't know, but it sounds good. Are you not a self-respecting human being? Do you not want an actual answer? Oh, I think that's good enough, isn't it? I mean, these people are busy, Gavin. Yeah, that's their fucking job, dude. It's their job to be busy. All right? All right? They take the money of the polis to be busy. All right? You don't need to, what? To be compassionate to the fact that they're busy. They signed up. They're doing the work. We're holding them accountable. That's it. That way we do our job and they do theirs. A binding promise would identify the law to be repealed, the regulations to be changed, the date of the repeal bill, the restoration of transferred recipients, the return of appeal rights, the voluntary nature of employment services, the benefit rate, and the source of funding. A binding promise would identify the law to be repealed, the regulations to be changed, the date of the repealed bill, the restoration of transferred recipients, the return of appeal rights, the voluntary nature of employment services, the benefit rate, and the source of funding. Okay? This is what they could do. They could just write it out. Right? And a binding promise would identify these things. It wouldn't promise every one of them. It would identify every one of them. And that's all we want. We want to know you're on our side. And we're not stupid. We're not morons. We're not idiots. We can understand what all of that means Do we get it? Do we understand it? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll go back to the chat. Do we understand it? Okay, nobody's speaking up. But I'm going to think that we actually do understand it. That is my belief in us. The NDP has published none of it. None of it. The vagueness preserves room to campaign against Adap's name while keeping parts of its structure. The vagueness preserves room to campaign against Adap's name while keeping parts of its structure, right? And this is what I told you. It is a political weaponry, right? Political ammunition for the NDP to get elected. That's all this is. It was the same way for the Liberals in the U.S. on at least 2 counts, and that is Roe versus Wade, and that is a $15 minimum wage. They promised both. They delivered neither. Not because they couldn't, but because they don't want you to have it. Why? Because their interests are not your interests. And it is the same here. They will campaign on it, but ultimately they don't give a shit about you, and they will more than less never accomplish a thing. This is what we need to hold them accountable for. This is why we need to hold their feet to a literal fire. That's why we may need someone in the political system that can literally fight these people, at least in verbiage, all right, and make them feel uncomfortable, and gather the people to bring into the legislature to say, these are the people we're not letting down anymore. Excuse me. Like my video, maybe I should play it again, right? Where Daniel Smith is sweating buckets and Naheed Nenshi is sweating buckets. Why? Because, oh my God, don't let the peasants in the door. They're in the door. Now things have to change. You see, it's an allusion to. It's an allegory of. A promise that cannot be measured is a promise designed to escape any judgment. All right? And this is what is banked on by the NDP. When Marie Smith says scrap ADAP, you can't measure that, right? But you can get away from it. Well, you know, we said we would scrap ADAP, but it's so hard. You know, and I'm just tired. I mean, let me sleep, please. You people are so needy. No, man, no. It's about the people. It's about me. It's about you. It's about all of us, you see? Leadership control. Marie Renault said, I'm not the leader. Those words, verbatim, came out of her mouth. I'm not the leader. And acknowledged that the party had no clear plan. That the party has no clear plan. That the party has no clear plan. That sentence reveals the boundary of her authority. Certainly does. And it also shows you what Naheed Nenshi refuses to do. Think about that. I don't believe that the NDP just needs a new leader because their ideology is corruptible. Ultimately, it's globalist and it has nothing to do with you. Right? But for sure, Naheed Nenshi don't give a shit. And I met the dude, not impressed. Not impressed. Not even a good politician. Not even convincing. Right? And was pretty shitty when I met him. And I'm not saying all this because I'm butthurt that Naheed Nenshi, whoever the fuck he thinks he is, made me feel bad. No. No, I stood there and I gave it right back to him. Right? But I realized this ain't a genuine dude. This ain't a good dude, in my estimation. And then I found out that he was a young global leader, got elected to the WF Young Global Leaders in 2011. And I'm like, now I know I don't like you. Now I know it. A critic may be permitted to condemn the policy, express solidarity, and promise consultation while party leadership withholds permission to commit a future government to legislation, spending, or contract termination. The emotion is public. I'm not going to bullshit you guys anymore. I'm not going to bullshit. Right? It's emotional rhetoric. We don't need you to swear to be convincing, Marie. We just need you to have a fucking plan. That's it. The obligation remains missing. Man, I got to think people are speaking up here. Yeah, Megan says, I'll definitely be watching Town Hall on Thursday. Annette says, it's a fucking mirage from the NDP. Of course it is, and it's so sickening. Right? We need hope right now, man. Don't we? I feel like I do. I don't know about the rest of y'all. That's what keeps me engaged. Well, it keeps my mind engaged as to whether there is something to me getting involved in the political system, not legacy politics, not NDP, Liberal, UCP, none of that, but somewhere, somehow, in some way to even acknowledge whether I can make an effect or not. And look, I'm happy if I know that I cannot do anything and that I will have to sell a part or any part of myself. I can just go down to Mexico probably, and I'll be good. You know, I'll be good. I'll leave it knowing I tried. But I feel like I have to try. That I feel like I have to do. And I don't know why I feel that way. I just know I do. Linda, I hope I can watch Town Hall on Thursday. Yeah, it's at 7 p.m. on Thursday on whatever their YouTube, NDP YouTube is. You can probably pick it up in some post on Facebook too, on any NDP group or whatever. I will be watching because I will be interested, and I will be coming forth with extremely, well, what I consider to be extremely important questions to them. So that's why I'll be there. And, you know, I can hope, although I have about that much hope, that Marie comes on and says, we got a plan. We got a plan. Doubtful. Very, very doubtful. Let's deal with fiscal positioning, and then, you know, I mean, we might give her up for today. It's been 2 hours now, and that's good enough. Sorry to sound so Southern. I did spend, you know, a few years in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so I kind of got that going on sometimes. Fiscal positioning. Abolition requires the NDP to defend adequate disability income as a permanent public obligation. Abolition requires the NDP to defend adequate disability income as a permanent public obligation, which is what they could have shored up better in 2018-19, and they did not. It requires a benefit rate, a full cost, and a source of revenue. Those numbers would allow opponents to attack the party for spending money on people whose lives have already been treated as expenses. Vagueness postpones the confrontation. See, if the NDP had their shit together, they could invoke the Heritage Fund. They could invoke the fact that the money from the Heritage Fund has been screwed with since the mid-'80s. That ostensibly under a better program from the get-go of the Heritage Fund, Albertans ostensibly have lost anywhere between $300,000 and $350,000 per person since the mid-'80s. They could say that's where the money is coming from. They could do more research than I have. Why? Because I'm one guy. I'm one dude. And I've figured it out. They have people that they pay, that they use tax money for, that could get down, and Naheed could say, I want the numbers and I want them now. We're going to save people's lives today. We're going to do a good thing, and we'll take the heat. Why? Because we get paid to do it. We get paid to take that heat. We're going to do it. No, sorry, no stones there. The man, as far as I can tell, has none. Alberta's Heritage Fund, valued at approximately $31.9 billion as of December 31st, 2025, exposes the moral choice beneath the fiscal language. The province possesses the capacity to provide security. The unresolved issue is who and what Alberta chooses to value. Excuse me. Commitment to the activation model. Excuse me. This is the deepest question facing the NDP. Does the party reject labor market activation as the governing purpose of disability policy? Man, if you want to write that down, anybody that's going to be watching on Thursday, you can handle that question right now. Does the party reject labor market activation as the governing purpose of disability policy? Ouch. Ugh. How many I don't knows is Marie going to come up with? Right? Right? If she's insincere, she will be exposed by all of the questions that are similar to this. Then she will be exposed. Like assless chaps on a stage. Huh? Employability assessments used to divide disabled people. Does the party reject? Employability assessments used to divide disabled people. Does the party reject contracted employment services tied to income administration? Oh, write these down. Does the party reject targeted security based on official classifications? Does the party reject benefits defended as investments in future employment and success measured through participation, earnings, and reduced benefit spending? You got to hit them right in the pancakes, ladies and gentlemen. We got to hit them in the pancakes because they're flipping their own too. The NDP has published no plan rejecting these foundations, right? This is why you ask the question, or the questions. Its silence leaves the global activation model standing, ready to be inherited, softened, renamed, and presented as reform. And we're not that stupid. Consultation as displaced responsibility. Disabled people must hold real power. Civic Corpus tomorrow at 3 p.m. Disabled people must hold real power in shaping disability policy. That requires a proposal concrete enough to accept, reject, or change. Consultation without a proposal asks disabled Albertans to perform the foundational work of the party seeking to govern them. It allows politicians to postpone their own decision and later wrap the result in the language of community participation. Which is another bullshit line that Marie gave when she said, we want to talk to everybody. We don't want to come up with ideas on our own. Bitch, we pay you to come up with ideas on your own. What you bring to us are the ideas in which we can either accept or deny. Oh yeah, that's good. Get rid of that. Doesn't work. Never going to work. That's our power. Not you come up with it on your own. No, I'm sorry. You get paid to do it. We don't. You come up with it and you bring it to us and we'll tell you yay or nay. The NDP must arrive with a position. Abolish the separate system, restore people to AISH, protect income, restore appeals, and make employment services voluntary. Disabled Albertans can then judge, challenge, and improve the plan. Consultation should transfer power to the community. It should never transfer responsibility away from the party. Tell her that on Thursday night. Go back to the chat. Annette says, I want to see this, Gavin. What is said when you start your questioning? Hey, I want you to ask questions too, Annette, and I want to see. I want to clap like Eddie Murphy in whatever that movie was, Hercules, Hercules. I want to clap for you, and you can clap for me, Hercules, Hercules. Right? We could do this together. We can do this together. Sam, how the hell are you? Good to see you. Very good to see you. Sorry I missed you. Gonna listen now, okay. You do your listening. Great podcast of what I caught. We'll go back and watch what I missed. Have a great evening, folks. Annette, you too. Love you. Love you. You're amazing. What are we at? I'm going to do one more segment and then we'll give her up for the night, okay? Is the NDP lying? A political deception often lives in the impression carefully created between the worlds, okay? A political deception, okay? Of which we are not nuanced enough to ascertain, all right? We're not nuanced enough. Maybe some of us don't have the information, but nobody that watches this podcast does not have the information they need to see the political deception at work. Okay? So whether you call it lying, whether you call it being deceiving, whether you call it lying by omission, right? Obfuscation, you can insert any word you like. What you can't insert is honest, fair, equitable, reasonable, truthful. These are words you cannot insert into the NDP's language, and of course the UCP doesn't even have the capacity of understanding these positive words I just spoke. So we know the UCP, right? Right. We do not have all the answers is being used to suggest that the NDP lacks enough information to make a binding commitment. Right? Yet the basic structure is public. Bill 12, you see, they're saying we don't have enough information. We just don't know. And they have people that are literally paid to do this kind of work. And they go, not sure. Don't know, not even sure where to start. Bullshit. There's your bullshit right there. Bill 12, formerly the Financial State Statutes Amendment Act 2025, number 2, amended Alberta law to create and authorize the AISH Adap structure. Okay, Marie, read it. Read it. Alberta Regulation 96-2026 contains detailed program rules that Cabinet can change where the Act grants it authority. Alberta has published the 1940 age maximum, the 1740 ADAP core benefit, the employment income exemptions, and the temporary $200 transition payment. Okay, Murray, you might want to, just bone up on these things. All right? All right? Danielle, I'd be speaking to you, but you don't give a shit. You already proved yourself. All right? And if the people have anything to say, you won't be saying anything for long. How's that? The medical review panel structure was publicly procured for approximately $41.28 million over 3 years. See, these are things they know. And if they don't, they should be fired. Shame on them. Sayonara. Hasta la vista, baby. Their jobs should be dismantled, completely taken away from them. And then maybe they might go a little nuts and they might need ADAP. The legislation gives cabinet and ministers authority over major regulatory and administrative details. Bill 12, Alberta Procurement Posting, AB 2026-04322, Government of Alberta ADAP fact sheet. Okay? Familiarize yourself, Marie. All right? The appeal structure is also public. Wow. Go figure. Who knew? Some ADAP medical decisions can be appealed, including whether a person has a severe disability and whether a file should be referred to the AISH medical review panel. Two crucial decisions cannot receive an ordinary program appeal: transfer from AISH to ADAP and the final decision that a person is medically ineligible for AISH, including a medical review panel decision. Judicial review through the Court of Queen's Bench is a formal court procedure focused on legality, reasonableness, and fairness. It does not replace the missing merits appeal. Okay, and that is also sussed out information. I'd say to the NDP, hire me, but I'd never work for you. So there you go. The questions waiting for the NDP are already known. Which parts of the law will it repeal? The questions waiting for the NDP are already known. Oh my God. Which parts of the law will it repeal? Which regulations will Cabinet change immediately? How will income and health benefits be protected during the transition? Will every transferred recipient return to AISH automatically without another medical reassessment? Will employment services be voluntary? Will ordinary appeal rights be restored? What will happen to the medical review panel contract? Pay them off and get rid of them. When will the repeal bill be introduced? What benefit will replace ADAP's lower rate? What will the plan cost and which revenue will guarantee it? Aight? Straightforward. Simple. Right? So simple, even a drummer can do it. The official opposition has professional researchers, legislative counsel, lawyers, access to information procedures, committee access, and a disability critic with years of experience. So she said. Public documents already reveal enough to produce the framework. We do not have all the answers. Turns ordinary unanswered detail into an excuse for withholding decisions the party can make now. No. That is the deception. That is the deception. Okay? They know enough to promise repeal. They know enough to promise automatic restoration. They know enough to promise voluntary services, real appeals, a legislative timetable, transparent costing, there's your word costing, transparent costing, and protected income. If the complete plan exists behind closed doors, withholding it while claiming uncertainty is dishonest. And if a complete plan doesn't exist behind closed doors, you all should lose your job by now. If the plan does not exist after years of study, the party is unprepared. They're not just unprepared, they're pathetic. They're pathetic. Either condition contradicts the performance of readiness. The public deception is already visible in its effect, Marie. Disabled Albertans are being encouraged to trust a slogan while the party refuses to disclose what the slogan will do. Isn't that special? Going back. Linda, those are great questions. Aren't they, Linda? I mean, really, those are good questions. What do they make a politician that makes anywhere from 120 to 140 grand a year? They make them do this. Whew, it just got hot in here. Does anybody else feel that? Right? And that's where you want your politician to be. You don't have to be nice, right? You don't pay them to be so that you have to be nice to them. You don't have to be ignorant either. But answering or asking a serious question is not ignorance. It's intellect, right? It's the beauty of a person thinking. And that should be observed and honored by anyone in the political space. My God, you came prepared. That's amazing. To Linda, we would like to speak to you in our whatever office. You know, would you come in? Because you're asking the greatest questions, ones that we haven't even thought of, Linda. I don't think they're going to do it, but you deserve it. You deserve it. So, I could go on, but I'm not gonna. Yesterday was 3 hours and 30 minutes, ostensibly, right? More or less. So, it might be a little early today, but I really think we bore down on some things. And that feels good to me. I hope that feels good to y'all. Because it sure feels good to me. I respect you people so very much. You have no idea. Your intellect. I want people to be here on Thursday at 3. You know, we're going to get into it. It was a little slippy slidey, you know, yesterday. You know, there was a little bit of contention and stuff and things and junk. But we're going to streamline it for Thursday. We're going to come with, you know, just the opening thesis of my civic proposal. And we are going to bear down on how to create the opposite of what we're experiencing. Everything. We're collapsing the system, and it's a beautiful thing, right? And it's unfortunate to me that people are in the way of that. It's unfortunate to me that Marie Renault is in the way of us collapsing the system, because she is in the way. And I'm sure she feels something about it. All right? But if you want to take a paycheck and not answer the most serious questions in which your job is predicated upon, then I'm sorry. You're in the way and you got to move. All right? That's it. That's all. So please tune in Thursday at 3. Tyrell will be here with me. We will be breaking it down, streamlined, no fat cut off, just the facts, okay? Let me see. Linda says, yes, I cannot wait until Thursday. I promised someone that I will help them pack a little on Thursday. You do you? There are a couple of people who will help too. Oh, good, good. They are faster than me, yeah. I know, and moving, right. I still have boxes in 2 different places in Calgary that I have to get. I'm just, you know, just a thought. But good for you, Linda, for doing that. Please tune in Thursday. This is where we, you, all of us have the power to create change. Why? Because the methodology is now going to be there for that change. What may be necessary is the power to change it, but we can discuss that as well. I love y'all. You know that. I hope you know that. All right? You be safe. Of course, you be well. But most importantly, up until 3 p.m. on Thursday, courage!